Hey everybody, today I'm going to begin planting some seeds directly in the garden. And for that, I'm going to start off with our yellow squash, some zucchini. This variety is the Ford Hook zucchini. I'm also going to try this zucchini here, which is Lungo Bianco, which looks pretty neat. Also thinking about starting some spaghetti squash and some things like that. We definitely want to do some melon, so we have some sort of a fruit, something that can go with breakfast, that kind of thing. So here's a Hearts of Gold melon. I've grown that before. Got to watch out for critters with these melons because they like to eat them. There's Petite Grise de Rennes. Please forgive me for a terrible French pronunciation, but it's the best you're going to get from me, I guess, today. Sugar Baby, I can pronounce that. It's a little watermelon that's got like serving size watermelons. And we got here, this is just a orange tender sweet melon. And then this one here, which is just all sweet melon there. I've had a lot of these seeds for a while, so I don't know what the germination rate's going to be, but we're just going to give it a shot and see what we can do with it. One thing that I do, and this is an old set of mini blinds that I just continually cut and trim off the end, and then I can write on it in pencil. It's cheap, it's easy, just a quick way to mark whatever I plant so I don't forget what it is. And then next year I just scratch them out and use the other side, and after I've done that, then I can throw them away. So I get a couple of good uses out of them. It's hard to erase the pencil mark, but that's a good thing because it doesn't fade in the sun. If you use like a permanent marker or something like that, it will definitely fade out, and then you might forget what it is later in the year. So this is a good way to do that without having that fade. So we're going to get to it. We're going to head over to the garden next and put in some seeds. So here I've put together one more raised bed. This is just out of some recycled materials that were lying around. 4x4 fence posts, a couple of 4x6 pieces, and they're just holding it in. I don't even have them screwed in or anything like that. I may have to come back and put in some sort of a side bracing on it. But this is going to be for our squash and zucchini. I've loaded it up with soil that was just laying here, and we kind of fluffed it up a little bit, chopped it up. We've got to clear out a few weeds here. But the next step is to come in and put little mounds so that we can plant the squash and zucchini in those mounds. Typically what you do is you plant about 3 to 4 seeds per mound, and you get germination on a couple of them. That just ensures that if you do have some seeds that aren't all that great and don't germinate, that you at least get something out of the mound. And you can always thin them. So here we're going to use the early golden summer crookneck yellow squash. We like having those around in the kitchen. And then this one, it's different from what I said earlier, but I didn't see this one right away and I forgot about it, and it's just a really good cucumber. Ortolana di Faenza? I don't know, you tell me. But anyway, it's a yummy squash. I like the Italian heirloom squashes. This one's from Renee's Seed and the other one is from Baker's Creek. So both companies have very good seed. Now down here you can see an extra pair of feet, and that is going to be my assistant planter girl. Say hi. Okay, so let's get to it. Okay, so we're going to put in 4 seeds in each mound, and all we're going to do is poke about 4 holes around the mound, and she's going to put in 1 seed per hole, and then she's going to come back and cover them up. Make sure they're completely covered. Maybe push them down a little bit further. We don't want a bird coming along and accidentally poking them up and eating them. Okay, and so we'll do that for each mound as we go down the row. Let's do this one next. This is the yellow crookneck squash. Hold out your hand here. Oh, that's too many. All right, put a few of those back in here. Okay, so we're going to alternate these squashes back and forth. And again, we're going to poke some holes in it. We've got 4 holes in. This is very easy to do. I always prefer direct sowing squash seeds in the garden as opposed to doing transplants. They seem to just do fine this way. They can do fine the other way too. It's just this way is just direct in the garden. It's actually less work, I think. So I'm going to compact that a little bit, make sure the seeds make good contact all around with the soil. And so we'll do that for the next 2 beds. And we'll be coming back with water and grass clippings for mulching. So here we backfilled all the remaining areas around those mounds with grass clippings as mulch. And that's just going to keep the moisture in the bed. We did not put any over top of the, well, we tried not to put any over top of the mounds here because we don't want to have grass clippings leach nitrogen out of the soil. But at this stage, it's probably not going to be a big deal because this stuff is going to brown up fairly quickly within the next week. And then these plants will be starting to germinate probably in about 7 days. So we'll keep an eye on them. And if it looks like they're not going to happen, then we'll plant more seeds. That's what's nice about seeds is they're cheap. You can do a lot of them. If you buy 1 packet of seeds, you might get 30 to 40 seeds in the packet, which gives you 30 to 40 chances to get some great squash. And of course, the last step is to give them a good watering. That's a given. Every plant needs water to grow, some more than others. But we're going to go ahead and give this a good watering over here. And in 7 to 10 days or so, we should see something start germinating. Of course, a lot of it depends on the warmth and the weather. We are starting to get to 50-degree nights here in Tennessee, which is good. And we should have 70-degree or plus days, which is also good. So it looks like we're in the right time. So melon seeds are pretty much planted exactly the same way as the squash. I just make some little holes on a mound. This is using some compost from the compost bin. Fill it up like that. Close them up. And hopefully we'll get some sort of musk melons later on. That's a cantaloupe kind of style melon. They're tasty at breakfast and fruit salads and all kinds of stuff like that. So it's pretty simple. You're just planting them direct in the garden as opposed to putting them in pots. As long as it's after the frost date, you should be okay with it. So I hope this video was helpful to you for getting your squash started. It really is pretty simple, pretty straightforward. I always prefer to direct sow it in the garden rather than pre-start it. I never buy squash, zucchini, cucumbers, and things like that from the store because doing it from seed is just so much easier and cheaper. I mean, for the cost of what you buy at the store, a packet of seeds will buy you 1 plant. So it's a whole lot easier. You can get 30 to 40 plants out of that 1 seed packet as opposed to that 1 plant. So why not do it that way? It's a whole lot better. It's just easier. So anyway, this is Dave from Growing the Home Garden. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe here on YouTube, and thanks for following along, and more gardening to come.